Hello Tamers and welcome to the first quarterfinal match of the Roundtable Conference, UlforceVeedramon X vs Examon. Ulforce has the first move. Security setup. Digimon standby. Let's open the digital gates. Hatching, Wanyamon evolves into Veemon. Then, for 2 cost into Gold Veedramon. Turnover, hatching, Babydomon evolves into Dracomon. Then for 2 cost into Cordramon. And for 3 into Wingdramon. Turnover, Gold Veedra is kept in the raising area. For 3 cost, it evolves into Arrow Veedramon. And then for 2 cost, V-Tamer Tai is played. Turnover, Wingdramon moves out. And for 5 cost, Groundramon is played, triggering BT-13 Dracomon's Inheritable to gain 1 memory. Turnover, and at the end of the turn, both Wingdramon and Groundramon's effects activate, allowing them to be treated as level 6 Digimon for a DNA Digivolve. Holding nothing back, the Dragon of the Earth and Dragon of the Sky now unites into a colossal Royal Knight. Here comes the gargantuan Dragon King of the Royal Knights, Examon. 1 draw. On evolve, first, Breakdramon is absorbed into its evolution cards. And since Examon DNA Digivolved, Slayer Dramon will accompany his king to battle. Since Examon is now treated as a new Digimon, BT-13 Dracomon's Inheritable can trigger once again for another memory. Turnover. Arrow Veedramon is still kept in the raising area. First, for 3 cost, BT-13 Rina is played. Then, for 4, Arrow Veedramon will evolve into Ulforce within the raising area. 1 draw in, turnover. Hatching, Babydomon evolves into Dracomon. Now first, Examon goes for security. With its all turns effect, it unsuspends, gaining plus 1k DP from Babydomon's Inheritable. Check. Veedramon 0, trashed. Now Slayer goes for security as well. With his all turns effect, he also unsuspends. Check. 2k on Veemon, trashed, and goes for a second swing. Check. 1k on Veemon, trashed as well. Finally, for 7 cost, Groundramon is played directly to the field, triggering Draco's Inheritable once again for memory. Now at the end of the turn, Groundramon can now DNA Digivolve with Slayer Dramon to create a second Exa, but it's only their 3rd turn. They do not yet have the cards necessary for such an overwhelming play. Turnover, and finally, UlforceVeedramon will emerge. But of course, at the start of the opponent's main phase, Slayer Dramon will activate his effect. By suspending Groundramon, Ulforce is now forced to attack. With Wanyamon's Inheritable, 1 draw. But upon Ulforce's suspension, BT-13 Rina can now be triggered, suspending her to activate Ulforce's on-evolve to play another Rina. With BT-13 Veemon's Inheritable, gain 1 memory. And on play, Rina gives blocker and evade to Ulforce, which unsuspends, triggering both Rina's 3rd effects to gain 2 memory, as well as Ulforce's 3rd effects when he unsuspends. Since he has 3 blue Tamers in play, he can bounce up to 1 opposing, level 6 or lower Digimon. The target chosen is Slayer. Now Ulforce is in the middle of attacking, but since he is now unsuspended, he can evade deletion with evade. With Groundramon's Inheritable, Examon chooses to block. And with his all turns effect, he unsuspends while suspending Ulforce, locking evade. However, now that Ulforce has been suspended, the second Rina can trigger, activating Ulforce's on-evolve to play a 3rd Rina. So once again, Ulforce unsuspends and Rina gives plus 1 memory. The battle finally resolves. With 15k DP, Examon is stronger and emerges victorious, but Ulforce evades destruction. Now, for 1 cost. With 3 Rinas cheering by his side, Ulforce will now unleash his true power with the X antibody, surpassing the speed of sound as UlforceVeedramon X. 1 draw. On evolve, unsuspend this Digimon or one of your blue Tamers, Ulforce unsuspends. And on all turns, when this Digimon unsuspends, if you have a blue Tamer in play, return one of your opponent's Digimon of the lowest level to the hand. Groundramon is bounced. Although it has unsuspended, Ulforce X still cannot freely attack because Examon is free to block as well. First, for 3 cost, ST8Veedramon is played. For 2 cost, it evolves into Gold Veedramon. On evolve, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k DP for the turn. The target chosen is Exa. If you have a blue or yellow tamer in play or a card with armor form in its traits in your trash, one of your opponent's Digimon of 6k DP or less can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn, but there are no targets. Next, V-Tamer tie will be suspended for 1 draw. And finally, for 3 cost, Veemon is played. On play search, 1, 2, and 3. The blue tamer Davis and Veedramon 0 are added to the hand. Turnover, Dracomon moves out. First, Examon goes for security. With its alterns, unsuspend and suspends Ulforce X. However, since BT-11 Rina's second effect is all turns, the third Rina can now be suspended to forcefully trigger Ulforce X's on evolve, allowing it to instantly unsuspend. Check. 6k on Veedramon, trashed. Dracomon goes for security on 2k DP. Ulforce X lets it through. Final security check for Ulforce, and it is 12k DP on another copy of Ulforce X. Dracomon is taken out. So now, as Exa goes for the final blow, Ulforce X is forced to block, and with no more unsuspended Rinas in play, it cannot unsuspend. Thus, it loses the battle and is unable to evade. It sinks to the ground. Next, for 5 cost, Quarterfinal is played, and once again with Dracomon's inheritable, gain 1 memory, passing over at 1, turnover. Active, draw, hatching, Wanyamon. First, Gold Veedramon goes for security. With ST8Veemon's inheritable on attack, since their hand is currently at 7 cards, they get to draw. Check. 7k on Groundramon, so Gold Veedra is deleted, which is exactly what Ulforce was aiming for. Because now, with its armor purge, it regresses down into ST-Veemon, which means they can now do this for 4 cost. Since the opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, Veemon is allowed to warp. So here comes the swiftest soldier of the Royal Knights, the return of BT-11 Ulforce. 1 draw. On evolve, BT2 Rina is played. With her on play search, 1, 2, 3. Another copy of Ulforce is added to the hand, as Ulforce unsuspends, gains 3 memory from the 3 Rinas. And since he now has 5 blue tamers in play, his bounce can target up to level 8. Examon is vanquished. Now Wanyamon will evolve into Veemon, and V-Tamer tie is suspended for a draw. And now Ulforce goes for security. 1 Rina is triggered to play Davis. On play search, 1, 2, and 3. They choose Veemon, so Ulforce unsuspends. Not only that, BT2 Rina is suspended to give it plus 1k DP for the turn. Check. 12k on Slayer draw, but Ulforce is currently at 13k. He cuts through and goes for a second swing. Second Rina suspended to play another V-Tamer tie. Unsuspend. Check. 1k on Dracomon. Trashed. Now V-Tamer tie is suspended for a draw. Ulforce goes for security again, but it does not have any more tamers to play off the third Rina. Check. 12k on Breakdramon, but again it survives on 13k. Finally, for 2 cost, Veemon evolves into Gold Veedramon. And on evolve, Quarterfinal's DP is reduced and becomes unable to attack or block until the end of Examon's next turn. Turnover. Hatching, Babydramon evolves into Dracomon. Ulforce has no security remaining and no blockers on the field, but because of Gold Veedramon shenanigans, Examon's one and only attacker, Quarterfinal, is frozen in its tracks. And with only 2 memory, there is only 1 move they can make. For 7 cost, they play the option card, Heaven's Judgment. While you control a green Digimon or Tamer, this card can be used without meeting color requirements. On main, activate the following effects, but activate it an additional time for each color among all the Digimon you have in play. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6k DP for the turn. Since they have 1 color, green, currently in play, they are allowed to use this effect twice, and they fire both minus 6k rounds to UlforceVeedramon. It currently only has 12k DP during the opponent's turn, so it is eliminated. And with that, turnover. Active, draw, Veemon moves out. First, the two V-Tamer ties are suspended for 2 draw, and then Gold Veedramon goes for security. Quarterfinal lets it through. Final security check for Exa, and it is another copy of the option card, Heaven's Judgment. But unfortunately, its security effect is not as intense as its main. On security, only one opposing Digimon gets minus 12k DP for the turn. Since they still have a blocker on the field, the target they choose is Gold Veedramon, who is depleted. With Armor Purge, he regresses down into Vmon, but since the DP is still 0, Vmon is deleted by the rules anyway. Now for 2 cost, Vmon evolves into Veedramon 0, then for 3, into BT-13 Arrow. Using its main effect, it suspends itself to check the top 3 cards of the deck, but unfortunately there are new blue Tamers among them. Now finally, for 4 cost, Arrow Veedramon will evolve into the Warrior of Transcendent Speed, UlforceVeedramon X. 1 draw. On evolve, unsuspend, triggering the 3 arenas for memory +1, as well as EX1 Vmon's inheritable. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. And finally, with its all turns effect, the final obstacle in its way, Blocker Quarterfinal is bounced. And with that, UlforceVeedramon X attacks. 1 draw off of Wanyamon. Examon has no blockers on the field and no security remaining. It's a direct attack and the match is over. The winner is UlforceVeedramon X.